The deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles during anti-ICE protests took center stage in court once again today. A federal judge in San Francisco heard arguments for a second day. ABC 7 News political reporter Monica Madden is here now with more on what happened today. Monica.
And Dan, attorneys for the state and federal government wrapped up closing arguments a little past 3 for the evidentiary portion of this trial. And tomorrow for the third day, we'll be hearing more about the legal issues. But this case has even higher stakes now after the president announced his deployment of more National Guard troops to D.C.
In day 2 of the high-stakes trial over President Trump's June National Guard deployment to Los Angeles for protests, the Army commander in control of those Guard members admitted the deployment happened despite low-risk assessments of the protests, but also testified that he does not believe troops violated the Posse Comitatus Act. That's the 1878 law at the heart of this case, which largely prevents the military from acting as civilian law enforcement.
Our founders determined at this country's birth that a federal government should not have the authority to deploy troops against its own citizens.
Political analysts say this case has renewed urgency.
The current debate in Washington, D.C. takes the fight between Newsom and Trump and moves it from a California-based argument to one with national implications.
In court, the state's attorneys showed images like these of soldiers lined up in L.A., arguing this shows troops illegally took on local law enforcement duties like forming a perimeter. California attorneys saying, quote, President Trump seems to see the military as his own personal army to use to further his agenda and enforce domestic law. But that is exactly what the Posse Comitatus Act prohibits. DOJ lawyers refuted that, arguing soldiers only protected federal officers and property, saying, quote, we have a record here of testimony of violence against military service, against federal law enforcement officers in the Los Angeles area. President Trump, he provided protection. That's what the order in question does. The law says the president can federalize the National Guard under certain emergencies, like a rebellion. But Judge Charles Breyer appeared skeptical of the Trump administration's arguments, asking, quote, if President Trump says there is a rebellion, does that make it a rebellion?
The trial will resume for its third and final day tomorrow at 9 a.m. No indication yet from Judge Breyer on how soon we could get a ruling.